Shop from Limit Break, brought to you by yours truly. We would like to thank yours truly and all of our Limit Break sponsors for 2025, Playground Games, 505, Sumo Group, and Brim University for helping us keep the program going this year. And a extra special thanks to Imogen and yours truly for putting together this presentation. For if you weren't here at the beginning, this is just a quick reminder that we would like you to keep cameras and mics off until the session is done. Pop your questions in the QA area, and we'll get to it towards the end. Thank you, and I'm going to hand it over.
Hello, everyone. I am going to start presenting. My name is Imogen Meller. I'm going to be talking to you today about how to attend a conference. I remember when I had never attended a conference. I remember how intimidating the process was. It's now a thing I do on the regular. So this is how to attend a conference. And the first slide is, who are you and why are you talking to me? My name is Imogen Meller. I'm the social lead at Yours Truly. I used to be a games journalist, so I used to work for places like PC Gamer and Lad Bible, and I have also done a lot of presenting in my kind of career through both streaming and through doing like other bits and pieces. I've been very, very, very lucky to have a really fun career with lots of different pieces to it, from like authoring a book, a kid's book about VR, to judging a couple of BAFTAs. I've done a lot of bits and pieces. And it's now part of my job at Yours Truly to attend conferences, things like Gamescom or Develop Brighton, as part of like business development and kind of doing a little bit of schmoozing and making sure people know who we are and what we do. A little bit about Yours Truly. If you don't know what we are, Yours Truly is a creative agency based in Hackney. We are an influencer marketing agency and a social media agency as well. So I do the social media side of that. We work with businesses such as Wizards of the Coast on Magic the Gathering and Dungeons & Dragons. We work with Ubisoft UK, 2K, Respawn, and a whole other group of publishers and developers as well. And the social lead, basically, I make sure that the social media content portion of the company kind of happens. We make content for like Ubisoft and for Magic, and we're working with Us2 at the moment as well. So conferences can be a bit big and scary. So the first thing you've got to do is a bit of planning. Where is it? When is it? And is it worth going at all? So this is really simple. The first one is like, which conference are you thinking? I've used Brighton Pier here for Develop, for example. When should you be there? This actually is a little bit more challenging than you think. It's not necessary to attend every day of a conference. But you need to know when it starts, when it ends, and how long you want to be there. And the last bit is, should you go at all? If your company is sending you, then absolutely, for sure. But there are a lot of people that come up with the question of, do I need to be at this conference? Would this be beneficial to me? You should think about things like, who else is going to be there? Are you going to be able to build relationships there? Are you going... and is it in the right space for you? Like if it's a conference in San Francisco, something like GDC, but all of your work is revolved around the EU, that's actually a bit more difficult because there are people going to be there from the EU, but it may be worth your time actually going to Develop instead. So there's like, that's the first thing you've got to think about. What else can you find out at a conference? Mixes, panels, and meetups. There are lots of things that are going to be within the conference itself that you can attend, things like talks, but there will also be mixes, panels, and meetups outside of that. So when you start thinking about going to an event, you've got to look on places like LinkedIn, Eventbrite, and Blue Sky to see what people are talking about, what breakfasts are going to be there, what other events, extracurriculars we call them, are going to be happening. For me, for example, there are lots of like women in games sort of things, people of color events. There are going to be things that are more content creator focused, influencer meetups, things like that, that kind of are relevant to me, what I do, and kind of are really good places to make connections. LinkedIn is useful, even if it's cringe. I'm so sorry to tell you this. With the dire state of Twitter these days, LinkedIn has become a really, really, really useful spot for information. It's really actually useful at conferences in particular, because if you're going to meet someone and you've never met them before, people will have photos on LinkedIn. You can also find out, about events and about things that are happening on LinkedIn. If you are you kind of like checking in, you can find out who's attending. And there's a messaging tool there, which really has come in useful when, for example, someone is not checking their email and I'm late to a meeting because of something else, or they're late to a meeting, or we can't find each other. LinkedIn is a really useful tool. Please go online, make sure your LinkedIn has a good photo of yourself, not just a selfie, something professional. It tells people a little bit about yourself, and it's not shy in telling people that you're good at what you do. It is really important to make sure that your LinkedIn is good these days. I know, again, I'm so aware it's cringe, and I'm so aware it's a bit of a hellscape for B2B relationships and AI experts, but I cannot emphasize how important it has been for making connections. Merchandise and business cards. If you've never been to a conference, you will discover there's a lot of stuff. There is so much stuff at conferences that you're going to need to navigate around. At first, you will think that it's kind of cool. You get like a nice little notebook, and then it becomes very monotonous because you keep being given stickers and lanyards, and you don't want any more stickers, nor do you want more lanyards. But they're there with purpose. If you are attending a conference, the least you can do is have a business card that is well designed and is clear. Nicely designed stickers, sticky pads, pens, or something like that can also be really nice, because if you give them to someone and they're useful, then that can associate a positive a relationship with someone. Bonus points if they're unique, useful, and well designed, and even more bonus points if they're ethically made or out of recycled materials. Things like, so the Yours Truly team, for example, have some notepads. They're nice. They have a little logo. It's nice paper. It's made out of recycled materials, things like that. And this was a photo when I was looking for a nice business cards to show. This came up, and it is someone who made a game out of their business cards because they're a board game developer. There's a link there to kind of their Reddit post from years ago, but something like that actually sticks in people's minds. It doesn't have to be that innovative, but it does have to look good, and it has to be clear, and it has to say what you are and what you do. Medication, throat care, and sensible shoes. Take everything that you could ever need, almost, is my advice for a conference. You're going to need to take yourself really seriously in terms of your health when you're at a conference. Almost certainly will you get sick, either with a sore throat or a cough or a cold if you go to a conference. So you're going to need to take that in mind when you're packing. You need medication, anything from painkillers to throat lozenges to Imodium. Take mini deodorant, take mints, get shoes that are comfortable and insoles if you need them. Take SPF, moisturizer, like anything and everything you could think that you might need in a really dire situation and you wouldn't want to leave your hotel room or a conference to go get. Even for some people, it's more specific things that they think that they might need. Take them. Don't leave it to chance. Don't leave it to needing to find a boots while you're at a conference. Take it in your bag of things. Try to arrive early to meetings so you can have a little wander around and get a breather before you start a meeting. And fashion may not seem like a top priority, but you have to get your hair done the way you want it beforehand. Make sure your nails are clean. Make sure any clothes you want are clean and are ironed. Also, not to say that you have to be really the best dressed, but I find things like charity shops or Vinted are really useful for finding nice fashionable pieces that kind of complement my outfit. And you need to plan your outfit so you have a vague idea of what you're going to wear each day. This may seem overkill. I totally understand. But if you get up at 7 a.m. to go to a breakfast for 8, it's the last thing you want to think about is, I need medication, or I need to find new shoes because these really hurt me at the moment, or this backpack is cutting into my shoulders. You want to make your life as easy as possible in all aspects. And that means, yeah. Also, being a walking pharmacy is a great way to bond with other people. But someone else is going to need one of those things as well. I carry throat lozenges out the wazoo when I'm at a conference, because people will go, oh my God, my throat hurts. And I'll be like, I have something to help you. And that's also another way to make connections. It absolutely does help. Booking meetings and time zone nightmares. Meet to Match is often the booking system in place for conferences these days. Meet to Match is great in that you can actually meet with people that you haven't met before, or you may not know is attending the conference. It's kind of an email that you will get before you attend a conference if you sign up, and then you can go online and search through people and offer meetings. Emailing. If you're emailing people and clients, or just people you know generally, even if you're already working with them, sending a, oh my God, by the way, I'm going to be at this event, is a really good way to book in a meeting. I do say that, like, there has to be, most of the time, a point to a meeting. There may be a relationship being built, you know, a conversation, but actually meeting with someone you're already working with but haven't met in person, but making the effort at a conference, is a really good way to connect with them. Being aware of time zones is really, really important when you are booking meetings. More than once have I come to a meeting and someone has said, I'm so sorry, I booked this into the wrong time zone. I'm late, or I can't be there. I've double booked myself. This is a really common problem at conferences. So Google Calendar has a setting where you can book in meetings in time zones, and be specific when you are asking for someone to meet with you at a time, that you say BST or like GMT, whatever time zone you're in. Be specific, so then at least if ever someone doesn't turn up to a meeting, it's not your fault. It's on someone else. You never want to be in a position where you're the person caught out by that. And time, it takes time to travel across to meetings. At GDC particularly, it could take up to 10 minutes between ending a meeting to getting to the place where you wanted to be for the next meeting, because they may be inside, outside. You may have to travel from like one block to another. Never underestimate the amount of time it takes to get from one place in a conference to another. So you're ready to go. Congratulations. What do you do when you're there? That's the next bit. Your first steps at a conference. You're going to want to get the lay of the land. You're in an unfamiliar spot for a conference. There are a few easy things you can do to make your days a bit more comfortable. Grabbing your pass is number one. Depending on the conference, that may open the day before. There will be details in your kind of attendance email. Also, make sure you do have a pass. There are some times where I've seen people go to conferences and they haven't bought a pass, and that's fine, but they expected to be able to buy one when they were there. That's not always the day, or always the case, or the prices are really inflated on the day. So you can grab your pass from the event. Try and do this when the queues are low, but it means that you will be able to find your way from your hotel or wherever you're staying to the conference center, and you won't have to kind of navigate that on your first day when you've got a meeting due, right? Toilets and water. If it's a massive building, look around, see where the toilets are, and find out where a refillable water bottle spot is. You know, if you can find a place to get water, that's really, really useful. Refillable water bottles are a really big part of conferences. You will need water if you're talking as much as I historically have at conferences. So keep a bottle on you and know when to refill it. Even if you're not thirsty in that moment, refilling it regularly can really help. Food. Sometimes it's possible to leave a conference to get food in the surrounding area. Look around and see what you can find that suits your taste. Conference food is sometimes unavoidable, but it is often expensive and bland. I cannot tell you how many horrible sandwiches I've had to eat. That's not, you know, it's not ideal. You're not going to feel nourished, and you're not going to feel full, and you may be distracted and hangry. You don't want to feel that way when you're at a conference. If you can leave a conference center and go find food in the surrounding area, that's a really good thing. If you can book out a lunch hour, that is wishful thinking, I must add. If you can book out half an hour in your own meeting slots to be able to look after yourself, then the meetings in the afternoon will run much, much better. If you don't have that time, but you have someone that you can ask to go and get that food for you, feel free to ask them if you can. It's so important to be fueled throughout the day. Coffee. Even if you don't drink coffee, find out where you can get coffee. I drink coffee. It's what's in my Yours Truly branded mug. But I know lots of people who don't drink coffee, or they only drink decaf. You always want to be able to offer to be able to get someone a coffee or a tea. You want to say, I know a spot. Impromptu meetings can happen at coffee shops, because not everyone wants to go to a bar or a pub to have a conversation because they don't want alcohol around them. Coffee spots are a really essential part of conferences. Even if you don't drink coffee, find a spot, keep it in the back of your mind. Icebreakers. And who are you? You may not know everyone at the conference the first time you attend. I would say the first time you attend a conference is going to be the most intimidating because you're going to know the fewest number of people. I'm very lucky in that because of my journalistic background, I met loads and loads and loads of people, you know, as a journalist. So I go to conferences in part because of that number of people I know. The first time you go, it's going to be a bit intimidating, but the secret is that a lot of people are going to be a bit nervous about being there for their first time too. You're going to want to think of some icebreakers, some one-liners, light, harmless compliments to shirts, jewelry, notebooks. By the way, I love your shoes is a nice, easy way to get a conversation going. And also, you may want to have a couple of one-liners in your head that you like say every time. You can kind of come up with a script of conversation in your head. For me, it might be like, how's the conference going? Like, how's your throat? Like, because everyone loses their voice. Have you been to this coffee shop yet? So good, you should try it. I didn't know that they had this drink here. I love this drink. It's, if you can find things about where you are or the specific day, week where you are, like, or something about yourself that you can say to new people, and it's fun, lighthearted, and starts a conversation, and you can repeat it, great. Every conversation starter does not have to be unique. You may be able to have like a little joke. Like a lot of my meetings even start with myself and whoever I'm with kind of repeating a joke we've found works in front of the client, so then everyone is relaxed and the conversation starts flowing in a really natural way. Hi, we've not met yet. Conferences are there for you to meet some new people, so you can get yourself prepared by with cold openings. Again, quite intimidating, but things like mixes, people are there to mix. It's not unusual to go, hi, nice to meet you, I'm Imogen, or hi, I couldn't help but hear that you were talking about this thing. I love this thing. It's a bit difficult at first, but you kind of get into a rhythm of it very quickly. And because conferences are there for people to meet, it's quite normal. Who am I? Work on your 30-second explanation of who you are and what you do. Make yourself charming, be confident and friendly. Ask questions, nod and smile. Work on an elevator pitch. You can ask a friend to listen to it. You can ask a colleague to listen to it. Think up how to talk about who you are and what you do in a really fun, charming, humble, but confident way. And then always ask the other person what they do too. You never want to be in the position where the person thinks that you are only open to talking about yourself or selling yourself. Additionally, and I have had this happen to me once before, I was talking to someone and they didn't realize what company they had worked for. And I spoke about that company. It was in a nice manner, but I didn't know they worked for the company I was talking about just because of the way that the conversation had come about. You never want to be in a position where you accidentally say something negative or something that could be perceived as strange about someone's work when they're right in front of you. Names, and names again. Some people are good at names, other people aren't. I'm not very good with names. I'm much better with faces. You can cheat the system a little bit. Lanyards are really common at conferences because they identify that you're supposed to be there. People will have lanyards on, and it will have their name and company. If you're lucky, it will be shown towards you. If you're not so lucky, you may have to wait until it wiggles around and shows the other side. Don't make it obvious that you're looking. Don't make it obvious that you're looking. But sometimes they're really useful to remind yourself of a name. If someone tells you their name and you want to know who they are, write it down. Put it in a little notebook, keep something on you, put it in your notes app. And additionally, you can note something that they told you, like, oh, I'm getting married next week. I don't know, something along those lines. Something interesting, something that they've brought up in conversation that you could ask them about later down the line. It shows that you're engaged, and it shows you remember who they are, not just in a very surface level. And your name, whenever you introduce yourself, make sure that you're introducing yourself in the way you want to be known. Nicknames will stick. If you don't want to be called a certain thing, also you can ask your colleagues not to call you that while you're at this conference. If it's a nickname, it's really, really important that whatever you want to be known as is what you're introduced as. Parties are everywhere. Be careful. Parties are a big part of events. That's undeniable. If you're invited to one, congratulations. Make sure you read the invite, have an ID on you, and sign up. If it's a ticketed event or something like that, make sure you sign up. You don't want to be getting to the door with a bunch of your friends and they can get in and you can't. That's really unideal. Number one, if you don't want to be around alcohol and you don't want to be in this environment, there's no shame in saying that you don't want to be there. It is undeniable, however, that lots of people find connections at these events. You can always drink soft drinks while there, be there for a very short amount of time and leave. But it is an unfortunate truth of the games industry that there are these parties and there is alcohol present. If you attend, pace yourself. You never, ever, ever want to be in a position where you have anxiety about what you said the next day. It's really, pace yourself, have 2 drinks, or have a drink and then have a soft drink, then have a drink, have a soft drink. And if you ever, ever, ever lose sight of your drink at any point, get a new one. No questions, no ifs, no buts. It does not matter. Get a new drink. No one at this point will care if you're wasting alcohol, because these drinks are often already on someone's tab. No one will care if you excuse yourself to get a new drink. That is, number one safety thing. And if you ever feel not great, have someone with you. Oh, this is another point. Have someone with you that you could say, I'm not feeling very well, whether that be through alcohol or through your anxiety, whatever it is, and they can leave with you. Okay, so, drink toppers are a great item to have on hand. They do exist. You can buy them on Amazon. Some parties, in the past, we have had them at YRS TRULY events where we have drink toppers so people can use them. Don't trust that they're going to be there, but you can buy some if you are anxious about drinks. Congratulations, you survived the conference. Now what? You may have some emails to send. Hi, name. It was so nice to meet you / see you at conference. Just dropping you an email with our deck, the restaurant you asked about, looping in with X on the team who can chat to you about, following up on so we can book in some time to talk about X. Thousands of these emails will be sent in the days after a conference happens. The good news is that everyone will be exhausted by the conference for the first couple of days after you get back. So Monday is normally that everyone is still maybe off work even. People will be sick. People will be tired. People won't want to think about that thing because they have all of this work to do. You have up to a week after typically where you could send an email like that and it be kind of, timely. You don't need to rush into it. But you can send an email, even if it doesn't have a huge amount to say, just saying hi, so nice to meet you. Would love to catch up on these details if you have any time at all. It's just polite. People like to be thought about after these things. And it may not be you that needs to send this email. But ask whoever is on your team or who you work with, hey, do we need to send an email to X or Y, or should I send that email? Just because it's a good point of contact. And also, a bit like business cards are lost. People may forget your name, so they can't find you on LinkedIn, but they may be able to find an email that you sent them if they do have any work for you after that point. Write down anything you had changed. After a conference, it's probably a year until you're going to be in that spot again at that point. I haven't been to San Francisco since GDC. I haven't been to Brighton since Develop. I haven't been to Cologne since Gamescom, right? And so when it gets to the next year, you're going to be a bit fuzzy on the details of things that happened while you're there. So if you can create some brief notes about the things that you changed, you would update, the things you enjoyed, the coffee places that you liked, the drinks that you liked, the beer that you liked, anything at all that you kind of would like to remember and think about, or even if there was a restaurant that you missed that you want to go to this time around. It's really useful to make some notes to yourself just to remind yourself next time you're at that conference, things that you would, improve upon. Actually, there are some specifics here. Was the hotel you stayed at good? Were the transport links good? Would you want to stay somewhere else next year? Did someone say that hotel was really good? Did you book your hotel in time last year? Do you want to book a little bit earlier this year? And if you do, putting in a reminder in your calendar is a really good way to do that. Was the pass you had to the conference useful? There are different levels of passes. Something like Develop has a free pass all the way to, thousands of pounds. Was the pass useful? Did you feel like you were missing out on talks or different capabilities that other people had? Were all your mates going into things that you just couldn't access? Think about that. Think about if you need more access or less access. And sometimes there's the opportunity to do a talk at conferences. I'm doing a talk at Develop this year about social media. Actually, Develop was the first ever proper conference I attended, and I was at university when I did so. So it is a bit of a full circle moment for me to be doing a talk this year. But not only is doing a talk a great way to kind of, put your expertise out there and share information, but it is also a really good way for people to talk to you, know who you are. And I'm really lucky my talk is on the first day, so then I get to do the Yours Truly party that we're doing without worrying about it for the next day. Post about it and do it all again. Again, it's really nice to be kind of loud and proud about attending a conference. Doing this on LinkedIn, a nice photo of a thing you saw or of yourself and some pals at the event, that's always really good. It's also a good setup for the next year. If you post about having gone to something like Develop and someone missed you and you would have liked to have connected with them, they could go, oh, I missed you, I'll catch you at XYZ thing. Being quiet about your attendance about something, it doesn't really help you aside from if you don't want to talk to anyone from there again. But it is a really good practice to kind of post to LinkedIn so that you had a really good time. Again, I know LinkedIn is cringe, but it does really help. The most important thing is to enjoy yourself. That small subheading isn't like that in the actual in the deck now, so I don't know why it's still saying it small subheading for context. But the most important thing is to enjoy yourself. Conferences are really overstimulating. They can be a lot. And if at any point you need to take a breather, if you need to go back to the hotel to freshen up and to not think about it for a little bit, just so that you can get back out there in the evening to go talk to colleagues and friends, that's absolutely fine. No one judges you. Conferences are kind of their own ecosystem for this for these few days. You will learn a lot at your first conference, undoubtedly. And then each conference after that will be better and better, and you will have a better handle on things. And every time you walk into a room, you will know someone already who will be able to be your safety person in that room. Conferences for me, they're my favorite part of working in the games industry, honestly. I love talking to people. I love meeting people. And I feel like I've navigated it to the point where I really look forward to them. Social butterflies unite, absolutely. And that is about it. If you would like to ask me any questions, feel free. But additionally, if after the point that you want to chat to me or send me an email asking anything more specific about this, you can at imogen@yourstruly.co.uk for my business email. But yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. If you want to put something in the chat, absolutely. I'm sorry if I really whizzed through that. I thought it would take a lot longer than it actually did.
Thank you so much for that amazing presentation. There's also just a quick reminder for everybody, if you click the little grid of icon next to the bottom right of your Google Meet screen, there's a QA thing where you can drop your questions so that they're easier to track.
Absolutely do. Like I have a backpack. It is an unflattering backpack, Alex. Don't, you know, the backpack you bring to a conference does not have to look good. The rest of you has to look good, but everyone understands that you may need to bring your laptop, a portable charger, mini deodorant. Oh my God, do you want to bring a mini deodorant? Bring layers so that, because conferences can be either really cold or really hot. So you want a shirt and like a t-shirt. You want blister plasters. You want everything in that backpack. You and your Gengar backpack could rule the world if you wanted to, you know? But yeah, I don't know if there's any questions or not. I cannot see. Oh, a new question was posted in Q&A. Would you recommend just using a QR code on your phone to immediately connect with people on LinkedIn rather than contributing to the mountain of business cards that people collect? This is actually a really good question. There are some people who like using LinkedIn and some people who don't. I would always have minimum 8 business cards in your backpack. You don't have to keep them all on you. You could keep it in the hotel, but like 8 on you at any one point. I think it's important to have them for people who are a bit more old school, people who don't use LinkedIn, people who you have a variety of people who have different capabilities in terms of like social media. So I would prefer LinkedIn personally. And people do use the QR code like quite freely. Like that is something that people do. I've even seen people print off their QR code and have it on their like notebook so that they could just like show it to people. Like people are really innovative in that way. But I think it totally depends on the person you're trying to connect with. Even though your preference may be to have that QR code, it may not be the person that you're talking to. So depends on the age group, depends on the person. I would say that LinkedIn is a really good way to connect with people. But then you're risking someone never looking at their LinkedIn messages, if you know what I mean. Do you think it's worth attending a conference if you're looking for your first opportunity in games, or these events only for professionals? That is a really good question. I was going to conferences as a journalist first and foremost, and I was freelancing at that point, and I was working on a personal blog, right? Start Menu, if you want to write about games, it's still running. Lex Luddy runs it, and she's great. I think that it depends on your purpose. If you can say that you think you can go to this event and you can schmooze and you can potentially find something, some work out there, absolutely worth going. Granted, if the cost isn't huge, if it's just to develop Brighton, I think it's worth going. It's in the UK. It's not that far from London. You don't even need to stay there. If you wanted to go on multiple days, you could go back to London. I'm saying this from someone who works in London specifically, if you know what I mean. But I do think that conferences are often designed for people who have purpose and who want, are already in the industry. but there will be mixes that you can go to and you can find. It would be most important to find events online that you think you could go to in that case, rather than booking meetings. So I would say it's worth going if you are the sort of person who will absolutely make the best of that opportunity. You need to make sure that you are committed to talking to people. You may have a person with you to help with that, so then you're not just kind of walking into rooms by yourself. You have a safety net. But as long as you are willing to throw yourself out there, then it's absolutely worth it for everyone in games. If you are someone who's a bit shy and you don't think you're going to make the most of it, I think that going to mixes that are more local, like a mixer evening, that is a better way to start talking to people in the industry. For showing portfolios, would you suggest, what would you suggest as the best way? Like PDFs, opening websites on the phone? Portfolios, I think that lots of people have them as websites these days, which is a really good way to kind of show people what you're capable of. I think QR codes actually is also another thing here. I know that people put QR codes on business cards and they give those to people, so then they can find portfolios really easily. Business cards again may have like URLs. I think with some people, they carry a laptop with them to show off PDFs in person. If you want to go, oh, we have no internet here, because internet is a really difficult thing as well with conferences. If you don't have the internet, then you wouldn't be able to load something, so you may need a laptop with you. It's a bit like the LinkedIn situation where it depends on the person. Some people may want to take away a card with a QR code to see it, in their own time. Other people may want it to be sent to them because they don't have time if you're just stood having a chat. I think then, again, business cards and LinkedIn are your best opportunity. And you can keep a laptop on you if you're comfortable with carrying it a full day and maybe going to like an event afterwards where it may be kicked about accidentally by someone if you leave your bag in a corner. It's a bit, it really depends. I would say business cards, having a version of it on your laptop and your phone. Also AirDrop is possible, so having it on something like an iPhone, but it really depends. I'm wanting to attend Develop, but I am unsure if I could get the free pass or Expo pass, as that costs money. I think the free pass is pretty good. I am someone who used the free pass last time. I think if you are going for the first time, it's likely that the free pass is absolutely ample. The Expo is quite small-ish, but it does have like lots of people milling around, lots of conversations. And if you have someone with you, it would be much easier to approach a stand and have a conversation with someone. I think it should be enough if it's your first time. Also, Develop happens in a big, hotel with a bar / kind of restaurant out the front, where lots of people mill around and talk there. People go to Loading Bar, which is a really good spot down on the beachfront, and people talk there. Lots of people are having conversations outside of the kind of limited areas of Develop. You don't need a paid pass to enjoy Develop or find connections there. How can I convince people I meet at a conference that I'm worth talking to / connecting with as a person who is still relatively new to the industry? Good question, but also I wouldn't worry too much in that feeling worth it. I totally relate to that experience when I was very new to the industry. People may go, oh, what do you do? And you feel a bit sheepish about like telling people that like, oh, I'm kind of new to the industry and I'm kind of, I'm working my way up there. But if you're nice to people and you compliment them and you're conversational, people aren't just going to go, oh, you're not worth talking to, unless they're just not a nice person. It's like if someone is like that, they're probably not someone you want to talk to anyway. People at conferences are really nice. They're very personable and they're chatty. I find a lot of the time they're there to meet new people, and I think that you can be proud of any work that you have done already. You don't need to show it off. and if you do feel like the person you're talking to is really impressive and is someone you want to connect with, asking them questions about what they do and how they got there, that is a really, like, people love feeling flattered about their work. Like if someone said, I'm new to the industry and I would love to get where you are, that is such a good way to get someone talking and very, you know, like open up about what they do and get some tips for yourself. It can be really intimidating. I understand that totally. But I do think it is worth thinking about how you can learn from them, talk to them, be open with them, and not feel like you're wasting anyone's time. Don't feel that way. Conferences, people are talking all the time to people that aren't useful, quote unquote, to them. I may talk to someone in development. I can't do anything for them. They can't do anything for me currently because I work in marketing. But who knows, years down the line, the connection may be useful to us both. For people who can struggle with small talk, neurodivergent folk, are there any tips for leaving good impression with new people? Small compliments is a big one. I like I keep saying, like a small compliment, how are you, how are you going, like how are you doing, like asking them questions, making sure that they feel involved and like open. And the thing is, I'm someone who is, you know, I'm dyslexic, I'm probably ADHD, I have not got the assessment. I worry a lot about talking too much. And so I have personal check-ins with myself as I'm having a conversation, where I go, oh, like, have they spoken in a bit? Am I talking too much on this thing? And I'm not trying to make myself anxious by any of these things. Played anything good recently? That's a really good question. I think it's like having these small prompts in your head that you can check. And also, and this is my favorite, carrying the glass of whatever you finished, like at an event, or like finishing a water bottle or something like that, and being able to go, oh, sorry, I'm going to go get another drink, or I need to like refill my water bottle, or having small excuses to leave the conversation that seem not offensive to them, but leaves the conversation in a good spot where you don't feel like either of you are saying anything anymore. Being fine to like exit the conversation because you've got to do something or you have something else to do is a really good way of feeling like you're not overstaying your welcome, or like you're not in their way. I also always use the word like, oh, sorry, you were going to talk to this person, or I've just interrupted. I'll let you get back to it. And if they're like, oh, thanks, then I know that they want to like exit the conversation as well. And also if they go, no, I was just blah, 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 they're having a good time, that they like talking to you. It's a really good, like, having these back pocket things that you keep in your head and you can repeat with every conversation is just very useful for me, at least. Do you have any suggestions for a job seeker's first time attending a conference? Expect to talk to lots of other people who are in your position. I think that actually one of the things is that if you're really like searching for a job, you may feel like leaving a conference, you'd feel disappointed, because I don't think there are many people looking to give people jobs at conferences, but there are lots of other people who will be looking for jobs as well. And if you can talk to them, learn more from them about like where they're applying, what jobs are going. And also those people are also searching for jobs and may get jobs, and they may be able to recommend you too. Yeah, there's the lateral networking ability there, where you can talk to other people who are new to the industry, other people who are going to be relatively the same position you are all throughout your career upwards through games, right? And if you can make friends with them, there are lots of people I made friends with when I was like a very, a student, who I am still friends with while leading a department at a company. Like, you really got to think about the long-term potential of conversations and being nice to people and friendship and finding people you get along with. Don't expect to find a job outright at a conference, but you may find that the job that you get in 3 years comes from that opportunity that you're talking to at the conference. Say I do 100 things. How should I break that down when introducing myself so I'm not just listing things? What do you want someone to know about you first and foremost? Like, if you were to like tier the things that you want someone to know and you want someone to think about when they think of you, then like think about it that way. For example, I've authored a VR children's book. that's not going to be the top of the list. It may be something I'm really proud of, but it's not the top of the list of things I want someone to think of me for, because that's not going to work in a way where they're not going to be hiring me or working with me for that. They're going to be working with me in a social media capacity or as a writer. So those two things, like as a journalist or a presenter. So those are the three things I would kind of package up, and don't like overload them with information. You can like have this conversation with them, and later down the line as they go, oh, well, my kids are reading a book, and I'm like, oh, well, so funny. I actually wrote a book in about VR for kids. Like, how old are your kids or something like that? Like, I mean, it might be really appropriate for them. You've got to be able to like work in, it's fine to work in things that you do or you're good at throughout the conversation and just drop hints in. But also it's fine to be a bit mysterious, leave things where they just have like a very baseline idea of you, and they can go to your LinkedIn and find out more about you, or you can drop it into conversation, or you're going to see them again at the next conference and tell them more about yourself. You've got to like build it, like build your personality and build your career in front of them. You don't have to tell them everything you do at once. Think of the things that you find you want them to know you for and talk about those primarily. Any advice on what to wear? I thought it might be a good idea to wear something that references a fandom or video game for easy icebreaking, but what level of professional attire should I be aiming for? This is such a good question. When I started attending conferences, I wore a patch jacket that had loads of fandoms and stuff like attached to it. This is something that I just made when I was at university, and it was really good at ice breaking. But I think actually that denotes quite a newness to the industry, like after a certain amount of time, because I think that as people spend more time in the industry, the fewer direct references to games they wear. I don't know why that's a correlation, but that is something that I think I've noticed. For yours truly specifically, we dress a very specific like way. We look like we're all from Hackney now, right? Where it's nice quality clothes. It's I wear a lot of shirts and jeans with a nice, with a belt, but the jeans are nice. They're like they're either secondhand jeans that I've found that are like Levi's, or like they're jeans that I've bought that fit me really nicely. A shirt that doesn't need to be ironed is often my way to go. So then I always look tidy and neat, but it's nicely styled. So it's like it's got a fun pattern, so people compliment the pattern. I think it's kind of down to you on how professional you want to look. Like I dress quite professionally, and I dress a little bit on the more overdressed end because that's just the way I grew up, and that's the way I like looking. But you should absolutely wear things that you would wear to like smart casual dinner or something like that. Like if you're going to a nice dinner place that's not like super fancy, like what would you wear like when out there, if that's my kind of like base point. I would say that if you can wear something that's patterned or fun, or if you ask your friends and family like an outfit that you've worn that they think is really good, that can give you a really good basis of like what people around you think of the way you dress, and like what sort of outfits that suit you best. Should you prioritize going to events that are more social / networking focused, or ones that feature entertainment? Games Aid Comedy Night, Poker Night, Karaoke. I've been to the Games Aid Comedy Nights. I think I did. That was really fun, but I kind of went there to support Games Aid more than I did to network or talk. Poker Nights, again, it's much more about the subject matter. These things, they can leave a really good, playful, fun impression on other people, but you're not going to get the opportunity to talk about what you do and what you offer. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I would say I would prioritize networking focused. Well, I would say that my favorite events to go to that have given me the most opportunities are mixes after conferences, things that are like drinks, like this person is organizing a drinks at this bar. Those are the ones that I found most useful personally. just because I'm a bit of a social butterfly. And also then we're not distracted by a thing that we're all doing. We're having a chat, we're having conversation, and I can talk about my work in a kind of in a nice, easy way that doesn't really that doesn't interfere with their enjoyment of whatever else is going on. I think someone sent a seems like you should address how you would want to present yourself as someone in the industry. Yes. Funky suits. I do know a couple of people that wear like really funky suits, and it works for them. You can see them a mile off. I've seen someone who wears a backpack that lights up, so that their friends can find them. I know that some people wear hats, some people wear specific jewelry. If you want to have a specific sort of outfit you wear commonly, absolutely fine. I think some people even like revolve their outfits around a color. Absolutely fine in all ways. I'm also albino. That helps. To be fair, I'm sure that people do people will recognize you. Being a mixed race woman in the games industry, there are actually not that many people who look like me. And so people do remember me a lot. That does help. But if you can find another thing that you want people to reference you by, that's it's all good. A Gengar Pikachu jacket, absolutely fine. People will recognize you and they will say that they like your jacket. I have known people to even make their business cards look like a Pokemon card. I would say that's probably not so good if you're aiming to work for the Pokemon company. But that was, as a games journalist, that was something he did. But yeah, I think that's all the questions I have. And I hope. Wait, were there any more? I don't know. I can't see the questions anymore. But I think that's about it. Ooh, was that a hand raise or an accidental hand raise? All good. Thank you so much. Again, if you would like to send me any more specific questions or something like that, there is my email in the messages in the chat. Always happy to respond to emails about this sort of stuff. I think just being safe at conferences, making yourself more comfortable, that is the aim of the game. Great. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much again for that presentation. I think it was super awesome. And also thank you so much for staying and answering so many questions. I'm going to end the recording here. And thank you, everyone, for attending today's Limit Break workshop with yours truly.